Emilio, the Honey Badger Diaz.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Honey Badger Hour. This episode of the Honey Badger Hour podcast is brought to you by the original Clippers Barbershop. We're live with the featherweight king, the pound for pound champ. Still in my books, mate. I don't care what they say, Volk. You're still the pound for pound in my book. John Jones can't sniff your crotch track, dog. He can't hold your jock strap.
Well, mate, I think I'm still up there in a couple of them. I think I'm still pretty much at one anyway. But it's all good. It's good. It still gets thrown around a lot. Like everyone still calls me pound for pound champ, so that's cool.
No. Everybody knows what's up. Everybody knows who's the pound for pound. I don't know if John Jones is. I just feel like Makhachev is too close, too active. You know what I'm saying? You've been busy, man. It's crazy, Volk. You've been since the coronavirus. You haven't been playing around, staying busy, huh? You've been staying true to saying what you want.
Yeah, man. It's been like that, and you're right. It was I don't know when it was, but it come to a point where, I was looking for, I was sort of like, while when I was champion, I was like, the right timing, and like it was about that for me. Where now it's just obviously the timing. You want the timing to work, but I mean, for me, it's. You know what I mean? Like the timing is when I'm ready to fight next. That's the timing. You know what I mean? Like I'll make it work when I'm ready, which will be ASAP. And that's, and I want to be active. And I don't know, like I don't know, seeing the guys like Izzy was doing that. Like Izzy was so active in the way he was fighting. And I was like, man, I wish I could fight that much. I'm going to try and make that happen. But obviously it's hard in the division. You need contenders and things like that. So that's why I was like, double champ, go 2 divisions and things like that. Like there you go. Like, how much easier is that? Just fight every 3 months. Lightweight feather. You know what I mean? So that's still in the books. So that's still in the books.
I think that's gonna be in the books. I was just looking at the top 10, and after this next fight, these boys are gonna have some work to do again. They're gonna have to build a number 1 contender. Who do you think? You saw the Max Holloway Arnold Allen fight. Hey. I mean, I feel like that was kind of good for you. It was just like, yo, that's my dog. He's still number 1, baby. These boys got some work to do.
It's funny how you look at it. Obviously, every time Max wins, because everyone was trying to say that Max was done.
Yes.
You know what I mean? From that fight. It's like, no, that wasn't the case. Like, you know what I mean? Then people are like, he wasn't done. It's just Alex. He's, you know what I mean? So it's funny. So it does make me look good. But at the same time, for me personally, I want contenders. So I'm like, I like Max. But I'm like, it's sort of not, I wouldn't say win-win. Like you can say it's a win-win for me because then I've got a contender. For me, having a contender is bigger. Then I don't care. I don't need someone losing. I don't want someone winning or losing just to make me look better. Like I don't care about it. I want to be active. That's my main focus. A lot of people, that's not how I roll. I don't want to wish anyone I lost just so I look better. I beat him, and if he, if this guy, I beat this guy, and if he keeps beating the other guys, it just shows you that I'm better. Like I don't want it to be like I'd rather have contenders, man. That's me. So everyone keeps fighting Max, and then Max just keeps showing that he's still, you know what I mean? Like
it's crazy.
So obviously happy for Max, and Max, great fighter, great dude. But yeah, Arnold was definitely someone that I was keeping an eye on, and he's really good. But I believe Max, I thought he looked great. I thought he still brings some new things to the table. Tried mixing it up and that. He's obviously trying to work on his game still. But I mean, it was good. It was good, fun fight.
No, yeah, 100%. That's what I was thinking too. I knew for sure you would want some new blood in the division. I'm sure you were super happy when Yair Rodriguez stepped up and fought for the interim title. I know how happy you were for that somebody stepped up. He fought Josh Emmett, same card as you, so everybody could see you both and kind of build this next one up.
100%. Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? And that's when that's why I was okay with the interim. A lot of people are like, why is it going to be interim? Like you're going to be straight back. I was like, I don't care. This will make sure these guys, and I give them something to fight. Otherwise, I don't want, if put it this way, if Yair was going to sit there and say, no, I'm going to wait for my title, that would have pissed me off and make me not want to get it, not want him to, you know what I mean? I'll be like, I don't think you deserve it yet. But then, and I'm not having a go at him, but I'm like, that's what I would have been like. But then I'm like, I'd rather do the interim because I'm doing this. Like, I know I'll be straight back anyway, but I mean, keep everyone else happy, spice up the division, give us a number 1 contender. And it did exactly that. Yair looked great.
Good.
You know what I mean? So now just built up this fight. So like, it was awesome. So it all worked out for the better. You know, now it's like a champ versus interim champ. You know what I mean? It makes the fight even bigger. International Fight Week. Obviously, that's what we're looking for. It's not actually signed or anything like that, but all everything's pointing towards that. So I'm definitely preparing for July 8th anyway. So we'll get that over the line soon, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Nice. And both camps seem like that's what they want, right? Like between you guys and Yair, everybody's kind of on board for July 8th.
I think everyone, all parties, for sure.
And Las Vegas, the Mexicans are going to be out loose in Vegas. Huh? There's a lot of Mexicans out there, man. They're going to be. It's going to be good for you, It'll be good energy in there.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. I'm used to. I was going to say hostile crowds. I don't think it will be a hostile. Like I don't think obviously they're going to be rooting for their boy, a Mexican champion, and they're going to obviously be cheering for him. I don't think the boos would be that crazy. I'd be surprised if there's boos. Maybe I'm used to the boos anyway. So if they're going to boo, I'm like, oh, sweet. I'll get that vibe fight week. So if I go there and press conference, I'm getting booed. I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of these ones again. All right, it just fires me up, as you've seen with Max when they started booing me.
Yes,
the way everyone was going, I was like, all right. It made me be like, I'm a fucking show you. Yeah. So I use that as energy. You even see me walking out to the song. They were booing, and then I'm just like, fuck that. Zoned them straight out. Looked at the camera, and I was like, just thought of everyone back home. It's like, I know these motherfuckers aren't booing at me. They're not booing me. They're cheering. They're ready. They're ready for me to go do work. They're backing me. So that's what I was saying to the camera, and just completely zoned them out. Just again, that just fired me up, and it made it more of a moment for me and more of a, you know what I mean? More purpose, more direction. You know what I mean? I don't know why. It just made it so much of a deeper meaning to that victory. There's so much in that fight, obviously, with Max. So the boos and that didn't affect me. It never affects me with that stuff. So no matter what it is, you can cheer me, I'm going to use it as fuel. You boo at me, I'm going to use it as fuel. Whatever you do, I'm going to use it as fuel.
That's what I'm saying. I was telling my buddy that too, that I always notice too, like whenever you're in a fight and you're watching, like if anybody, you're such a competitor. This is one of the things I noticed, like anytime, if anybody, I remember you were talking about this in an interview too, when you're in Islam fight, like if he caught you with a good shot, you're like, oh, good shot, mate, but it's like, the better somebody does against you, the worse it is for them. Because I know you're just always going to match them and then bring it intense. And it's like, that was the same thing, like through sparring, through the years, through training. It's like, you don't even want to do good against Volk, bro. You rather just do like zombie and just take it. Because if you, God forbid, accidentally get a number on him, that work, the you know what I mean? Like the demon, I call it the demon in you, bro. That like, you're a nice guy, but you got that demon in the training, in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. Look, you're not wrong. I reckon with age, like I'm still pretty. Like, I don't think I'm that bad, but I used to be like, say if that happened, like back in the day, someone would get one, I'd be like, all right, okay. So I don't think I used to like, it won't be power, like try and really knock the head off, but the pressure would come on even more. Next minute, taking down, boom, dumping you, bit of ground and pound for ragdolling, like, and the pressure's just on and just, that's I'll end up just going to a whole nother level and really, really putting on people in that sense. Now I feel like if people are going to do that, like, and I feel like they go up, I'm like, oh, okay. So like maybe I'll like try and stick one in a little bit more, maybe, or something. I get aggro a little bit easier nowadays than probably I used to. It's coming with old age, but I'm still obviously nothing compared to what you see out there. But I know what you mean. Like, there's always one like, oh, I'll go there, do that. And they're like, oh, okay. And then it makes me go to another level. It's funny. I do that. You might even see that in fights.
That's what, yeah.
I used to anyway. Back in the day, you would see, I would fight to my opponent's level more. So like, if I was I'll just fight at that level. I'll just do enough to take them out. Like, if that makes sense, I would always just do that. And then, but now you're starting to see like, obviously with the zombie and the Max third one, like, or even Ortega, it's like, no, it's not really that. Now it's, I'm just going to, I'll just rise to my level and that's it. You know what I mean? Like my bar's here and I'm just going to keep it there. And obviously I'm evolving every time, but it's that's what it seems to be now. So now you're seeing, like, that's why even with Islam, right? Like everyone thought the levels, oh man, like how's he going to do it? I was like, oh no, I'm always a rise to occasion. Don't worry. I'll do it every time. And I did in the gym and you see me do it, But again, it's hard because even though a lot of people still treat it as a win for me, I still didn't get my hand raised, right? So it still stings. But it's funny, the conversations you have, it's almost like I've got that second belt anyway. It's weird, like the way I have each conversation. Like I sort of got to feel like I got to remind them. I go, oh, you got to remember, I still lost. You know, like you don't have to keep congratulating me. You know, but
Yeah.
anyway.
It would have been nice to get like a hometown nod, you know. I said, man, I see bad decisions. I see decisions every day for the hometown guy. Why can't we get one, you know? But
yeah, exactly right. You know what I mean? And again, obviously it's a close fight, right? Like it's not one. You know, you got some people like, you know, it was a close fight. You can see what it is. You know, obviously, I'm okay with it. But yeah, you're right. You sit there, it comes to a point where you're like, all right, these rounds are, you know, I watch back and I'm pretty comfortable with 2, 3, and 5. And then you think you've got that, the crowd's going nuts and all that. You know, there's going to be like, you know, they should influence. They definitely didn't influence it. So, so I guess credit to the judges in one way, but you know, again, like, 'cause it's weird, right? The scoring criteria now, it's like, it's all about just damage, which is, it's weird. And then I've had a couple of conversations with people, and you know, I even heard some people talking about this. They'll talk about, like, you know, you just touched on it, where, like, you know, like, acknowledge the punch. So, you know, like, say someone land one, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, nice. Oh, that was good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, sweet. Like, it's as if that was making that punch more effective. That's the way they were treating it. I'm like, wait, no, you got all mixed up. Like, I'm not acknowledging, or like, oh, wow, you really got me. It's like, it was barely, like, it wouldn't even land like that bad. Like, wouldn't get me. It'll be like, it'll just be more of a timing thing, where I'll be there and I'll be like, go there and like, you got that in, well done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you snuck that in, like, good on you. Where I felt like so it was funny how people reacted to that and would be like, oh, you know, and maybe I don't do it. Maybe I stop doing that because people are looking at it. Maybe the judges look at that differently. Where I felt like there was times where I would attack him and then he would like do these ones, turn and like, you know, and I feel like that looks so much worse.
yeah.
Someone sitting there turning away, cowering, like, not, you know, don't mean in a bad way, but I mean, I feel like that's a lot worse than nice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting there just going, like, it's nothing. Obviously, it didn't affect me. I'm walking straight back in his face.
Yeah, man.
Like, you know, these, like, running doing these ones, I feel like should look so much worse to the judges, but I guess not. Apparently, more people, you know, were taking more notice to me acknowledging them shots, which I thought would be different. When does composure, me being comfortable, like, when does that come into play as well? Like, I'm sitting there like, you know what I mean? I'm composed. I'm sweet. Like, you know what I mean? You see me in positions, I'm laughing. And you could,
never
you
even
tell me, and you could never tell me like that's how, like, you know, he was feeling. And I'm not saying that means anything, but I'm just saying, like, you know, like especially in punches, someone's punching. If I land a clean one, I just, hey, whatever. Or if I land on and they're doing this one, I land one. Like, surely you're going to think the one where they're cowering and losing all composure, getting uncomfortable, freaking out, like, that should look so much worse, I believe.
Yeah, definitely,
anyway,
man.
but I mean, mate, I just won't acknowledge it anymore. I'll just miss that face. Just won't show nothing.
Yeah. You know what it reminded me of?
That's what it was.
Yeah. It reminded me of when you said, "Oh, sorry, mate," and then the referee. Remember when Shay did when he redid that, I was like, "Yo." It's like, you're so calm. That's why, bro. It's like a sparring session for you. People don't understand.
That's how chill and composed. Like, he lands one again. Like, it's not like, and I'm like, whoa, yeah. Like, it's little. Oh, all right, yeah. Like, I thought, like, it was either I thought I was out of the, you know, I thought I was out of distance, and you still snuck in. I thought you know, like, little things like, you still got it. Well done. Like, you know what I mean? Touche. You know, it's like that's all it was. Like, you know what I mean? But I guess I think I was doing that more hype up, like, again, just the moment, and let him know, like, you ain't heard of me. There's more to get in his head. And I reckon he dealt with me doing that a lot worse than how everyone else looked at it. Like, yeah, he's looking at it, I mean, I'm landing. This guy's just laughing at me. You know, where other guys are like, oh, acknowledge that. You know, that's got to score bigger. Like, it was weird. I heard a few people like talking about it and saying that, and I was like, oh shit, okay, maybe I'll take that into consideration next time I fight.
Yeah, man. I remember you were saying in between rounds. No, go ahead.
We'll let him land one. I'll just be like, Just keep walking forward like nothing happened at all.
Yeah, there you go. Just freaking, So how was it like in fight week? Did it feel like something was missing competing? It's been a while since you competed at 55. So did you feel like good energy levels, or did you feel like you were kind of missing that
Oh,
struggle weight cut?
everything was fine. Like, obviously, if you get right down to the science of everything, could I have been like, am I faster at featherweight? Gonna be that little bit. Yeah, maybe, probably. But I mean, still, still was fine. You know what I mean? Like, we try to find that perfect balance of where we wanted our weight to sit. So yeah, it was all good. I was happy with it. I was still moving good enough. It's all right. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it was fun. Again, we wanted to do the bulking and stuff like that to try and put on that little bit of muscle and work on that strength block. So obviously, I reckon the strength work might have helped, but the bulking, I don't even reckon I ended up putting on much weight, to be honest. I don't think I put on much muscle. I might have put on a little bit of my ass and legs, maybe, but it just looks like even now I'm like pretty much back at what I always said around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's I don't know if I put much on, to be honest.
Yeah, you look lean. I was gonna say when you fought Makhachev, you look lean. Like you still look lean and mean and strong. It didn't look like Alex Volkanovski.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't try and put on too much. So I think I ended up fighting at maybe 76, 77 or something. Like I didn't want to go too much heavier.
I'm sorry. What is it? 77?
That's where I'm at now.
Oh, okay, nice.
Hey, 76, 77 maybe. Yeah.
Nice.
So I didn't want to get too much heavier than that. I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Because I was like, I got to 80, like trying to do this bulking, holding all this water, and man, like, yeah, I probably felt like strong, maybe, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would have felt different for people trying to hold me because I was just a ball. Like, obviously being pretty fat at the time, but I mean, my movement, I really felt like, oh man, I don't like this. I started bringing that weight down. I had to be better, and then made me make that decision. Like, all right, I'm going to make sure I fight at a lighter weight, because I was thinking maybe I'll fight at 78, 79, but then I was like, nah, I don't move right at that weight. I'll come down. Yeah. So I had to find this perfect balance where most lightweights, I don't think I need to. I wouldn't need to bulk. I wouldn't have needed. That would never have been in the game planning. I would have just sat how I always do. But with Makhachev, I was like, all right. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, as in, he's that Dagestani wrestling, the strength and all that, But to be honest, I don't really. I feel like my technique and my strength alone, at where I'm at, where I've always been, is enough. It's just that technique, like that you have to just really do that long camp of drilling these positions, and so I can be calm and composed when they're there and get out and be like, all right, back in his face, and again, be chill, laugh about it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think going into a rematch that you can, knowing with what you know now, do you feel like going into a rematch, you'll go in there with like a whole different, I want to say confidence, but I feel like you're going to know, maybe you're going to there's going to be a lot you can take from that fight and really into the next one. I feel like your confidence is going to be really a lot leveled up.
I could have say that happened, and I'll be like, all right, let's take that fight away back and do it that next day. Or that, literally straight after that fight, I was like, man, I know exactly what I need to do now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I knew exactly what I needed to do straight away. So I could fight it. Yeah, I could fight a different fight. Because, I still knew things that he was going to do. He did do them. But I couldn't really approach them certain problems like I would usually because of a wrestling threat. You know what I mean? There was a few different layers there, and there was a few things that I had to worry about. But now that I know that I didn't have to be that worried about that, I could have changed other things a little bit without getting too much into it.
No, definitely, 100%. That's why I'm so excited for the rematch.
So obviously there was still that respect for the wrestling and that, and they're always going to need to be. But, again, I feel like I could fight a bit of a different fight if I wanted to.
Yeah, definitely. Now getting ready for Yair coming into the next one, going back down to featherweight. Is it a nice change of pace training for a striker that's not named Max Holloway? Because it's been 3 grapplers and Max Holloway, in between.
Well, 100%. It's man, I like problem solving too, right?
Yeah.
So this is definitely still exciting for me because man, he's good, man. He's a dangerous fighter. He's very, very unpredictable. He does things, especially in his later fight, you know what I mean? Like earlier in his career, there was certain things that you could notice a bit more. Like, and then he's later, it's definitely different. So it's without giving too much away, obviously, but it's exciting. So it's it's making me have to think a little bit differently, and bring in still game plan like how I did with Makhachev. Bring certain guys in to focus on certain things, and so I can get a good feel, a good understanding, be comfortable. Just little things like that. It's cool. So I've actually got Carl Van Roon in at the moment.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, just so it's unreal. Just getting one of the best taekwondo expert in the world. You know what I mean? Who's a lot taller, like, and heavier, and then having this guy like throw some crazy things at you. Like, you know what I mean? If you want to learn how to swim in the deep end, that's how you do it. Just throw yourself in shit like that.
Yeah, and he's a lot. Yeah, he's like a year. He's gonna give you the same looks, just a lot bigger. And people don't know, right? I know you always say this in interviews, but you always gotta remind people, like, bro, Volk doesn't train with people in his weight class. Not even really lightweights. Volk usually need the welterweights and above for you to be able to put the pace you want to put and let your hands go.
Oh, like I'm always gonna have bigger guys definitely for that. Like, it's good. Like, my main training partners are gonna be like your like, I've got like featherweights and that. Like, even Colby. Colby's probably my main training partner. He's like featherweight, but I think he's more bantamweight. He'll be one of my main training partners. Colby Thickness, like, you know what I mean. Like, so he's one of the main bodies. But again, like, when we're doing sparring and bringing people in, like, obviously you're bringing your Craig Joneses, you're bringing your Frank Hickmans, you can't really. You're going to bring some. Usually my if you're allocating training partners. Like, they're usually going to be a bit bigger, but I mean, all year round, you need to train with the little guys anyway as well. Like, I mean, you need to train with guys that know your game as well, because they give me a lot of problems, right? So like, because people are going to try and figure me out, right, and then think that we got him figured out. It's like, well, no one's got me figured out more than my own training partners.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's like, and I deal with that every day. You know what I mean? Like, so do they. But I mean, yeah, like I rely on, them not knowing how to deal with me rather than, you know what I mean? Like, me getting a real understanding of them, of my opponent, that's going to help. But then the bigger problem is them having to deal with me, really, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's funny because a lot of people are going to try and emulate, which is going to be fine. But I mean, that can be difficult. And again, it's going to be difficult for Yair. Yair is going to do different things to maybe what Cole did. But put it this way, there's a lot of things that they might do. Cole's going to, he's been doing it forever, you know what I mean? And that's his world, so it's so it's like and then he gets to do it with me, and he gets to counter things that are, we're trying to like counter each other and do, you know what I mean? Have these, we're already having these, sort of things. So it's cool, you know what I mean? It's unreal. And again, I'm not going to go into that fight expecting exactly this, but I'm prepared for a lot of different variables. And then I know that I'm going to really make it hard for him with what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I think that man, like the grappling level up. I bet you probably feel like training for Makhachev and Ortega. Like, you get your grappling, like every camp, your grappling probably just levels up a little bit more. But now you can use all these new tools that you probably got in the grappling offensively that maybe you weren't planning on using. Now it's exciting to see what you can use on the next one. Like, it all adds up. It's like compounding interest. Like, to the next fight. So I like how it all pans out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like, again, that's what's exciting as well. Because you talk about being well-rounded. People talk about being well-rounded and things like that. And then you've got to use the right tools for the right job. You know what I mean? And you never know. Again, like, I will think that I'm going to have to use these tools and this and that and do this. It might change a little bit in the fight. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, I'm willing to take the whole tool set in that octagon, you know what I mean? I might expect to prepare. I prepare with all of them, but might focus more here. But still ready to use all the tools.
Yeah, that's your game too. And I know that's one of the things you pride yourself on. Like your well-roundedness and being able to win the fight wherever it needs to go. Did you watch the boxing fight this weekend? Did you watch the Tank Davis, Ryan Diaz?
Yeah, I watched that, man. Yeah, for sure. Like, it was. I love seeing boxing fights like that as well. Like, especially when you got I'm sure people are talking about. You don't usually get these guys that are little future stars or already stars themselves fighting each other, undefeated records. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
it's very hard to happen. I'm glad it got the attention. I feel like it did. I feel like it got the attention. I feel like it got the love that it deserved, because now we might start seeing them more. Hopefully they got paid well, where that might encourage these fighters to do it more. Let them know, and I hope Garcia comes back and does big things, so they realize having a loss on the record ain't that bad. You know what I mean? Just shit like
Yeah.
that. So I want, and then you're gonna start. You know what I mean? It'll be so much better for boxing if they can do these types of fights. And it's obviously a lot harder because everyone wants to do this promoter versus that promoter. It's a whole different ballgame, but it's good when you do get to see the best fighting the best. Because again, it's good where we're lucky enough we see that a lot in the UFC.
Yeah.
You just don't get to see that too much in boxing. So when it is happen, I try and make sure I buy the pay-per-view, I tweet about it, and then congratulate them, because it should be done. And I'm glad they did get the love they deserve.
Yeah, no, it's good. The boxing fight, it had like big fight feels. Like it was good production, right? You know what I noticed in the boxing fights? You can see the crowd. Like you can see like the front row people like right there. I was like, oh, I was a little bit, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
They had some stars there.
Yeah. They brought the boys.
All the boxing legends, Mark Wahlberg, you name it. They had a lot of guys. Again, that's what I mean. I'm glad it's still got, I couldn't tell you what the pay-per-views did, but I've seen a few people talk about it, so I'm just hoping it did better, and I hope they got paid well, and I hope, Garcia, the guys that lose in these situations bounce back and still make big money fights, still have a lot of hype. Then it might encourage everyone to chase these challenges and these bigger fights.
I never thought about that.
Which is fun. That's what us athletes, not athletes, so that's what us fans want to see, right?
Yeah, I never thought about that. If these boxers, they start competing at a little bit earlier in their career, the big fights, and they make it happen, but then they lose and they see a guy lose but come back and win more big fights, it's going to motivate other ones to take those. You're right, because like in UFC, Dana White kind of forces the best for the best, but the promoters in boxing, they kind of fear that stuff,
Yeah, so you'll still sometimes be like, oh, might protect, you still might get a bit of that, but it's not long till they're in there. So they might protect it for a couple of fights to get to the rankings, to get, and then they start making some big fights. But we're talking within a 1-2 year span. And then you see it in again, I'm not trying to knock it, but then you'll see whole careers that's happening. And then these fights just don't happen at all. And that's not what the fans want. The fans, are like, how many missed opportunities are there? Yeah, it didn't used to be like that. Like you said, you met back in the Oscar De La Hoya days, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones, is all these guys that they'll fight the challenge, they were going crazy. Losing a fight wasn't a big deal. They go there and move up a division, fight a bigger fight. So it was it was encouraging athletes to do that. But I just feel like it has changed a bit.
This episode of the Honey Badger Hour podcast is brought to you by the Original Clippers Barbershop, located on 14227 South Dixie Highway. Make an appointment today. You can find them on the Booksy booking app or call 305-964-7882. More than 20 plus years in the game. And that's the Original Clippers Barbershop. Master barbers for a master fighter.
Changed a bit.
Yeah, definitely, man. Speaking of boxing, another boxing fight. Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul. Oh my gosh, I'm a little bit worried about that one. I ain't gonna lie, Volk.
Yeah.
What did you think? You think Nate Diaz can just walk him? You think Nate Diaz can walk him down? I don't know, bro. I think Jake Paul's looking a little strong. He's looking a little bit strong. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Obviously, the power's there, but mate, the only thing is, Nate Diaz, his chin. You know what I mean? Has he?
One time, a long time ago at lightweight, by Stephen Thompson kicked him, but it was like he wasn't out, but he got head kicked real bad by Stephen Thompson a long time ago.
Has it happened lately? I'm trying to think of even a big wobble. I know even Masvidal got him with massive kicks and that. I think he might have sat him on his ass, but he wasn't concussed or rocked.
No.
He bounced straight back up. So I mean, I feel that chin goes a long way.
Especially against a guy like Paul.
Is it? I wouldn't mind knowing how it goes. I still feel early, I actually don't mind both guys. Obviously, everyone loves Nate Diaz, but Jake Paul's growing on me as well.
Me
I don't
too.
mind the guy, but yeah, I think early he's probably going to be landing some big shots. You know what I mean? But
No.
how long can he hold that for? Because Nate Diaz will take it, he'll be there. Look at that! Look at the Conor McGregor fights.
Yeah.
He was, if you remember both fights, the first 2 rounds or the first round or whatever it was, he was getting clocked.
Smashed.
Like it was just repeated, boom, 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 and then the gas tank, and then he just capped. You know what I mean? Like it's like he's got a good chin, and sometimes boxing. We'll see. We'll see if that goes in. He does a lot of boxing sparring in that as well, so it'll be interesting. I still feel like yeah, I don't
It's a
know.
tough one.
I'm just again, I know you're like, oh, I'm worried about obviously you are going to be worried, but I mean, I feel like he might do better than some people would think. Nate Diaz.
He could definitely walk him down. Listen, Jake Paul, as good as he is, and like
Early, it's not going to be good though.
no. Early is not going to be good. Look, Jake Paul's fast, but he still doesn't fight like a boxer. Like you can still see his footwork a little bit out of place. He looks a little bit wobbly and shaky, like in the Tyron Woodley fight. Mind you, those are huge stages and big arenas for like under 5 fights, 6 fights. So he performs, but yeah, you're right. Nick Diaz, I could see Nick Diaz walking him down and making it ugly, like in the 6th, 7th round.
Yeah, exactly right. Which that approach, because he's gonna want to work on grinding. Like his only way of winning, I believe, is he's grinding him out and doing something later in the rounds. But that approach early isn't gonna look good.
Yeah.
Something can happen. Something can happen before he's able to actually grind him out, right? So whether he actually lasts long enough, is it too late? Is there enough rounds for it? I don't know. I don't know how many rounds they're doing. If there's a longer rounds, I'm sure Nate Diaz is probably asking for a few more rounds. I definitely, the longer the fight goes, obviously it's gonna look. It'll be entertaining too. I reckon.
It's gonna be a great fight.
Could you imagine Jake Paul's just boom, just bombing him, rocking him, and like that, and then you start seeing him slow down. Thingy starts coming back, and having that type of fight, like it could be massive, and like I can see that could happen. So it'll be interesting. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Nate Diaz I could see him making a little run at the end, all bloody, crazy, talking about that's what I'm saying. The boxing, I don't like. The referees have a lot of power. They do like a lot of random. The guy will be like fine, and they'll stop it. I hate when they do those wave offs. That's a little bit. That's a little bit worrisome with the boxing. Like even the Ben Askren, I was like, wait, give him another chance.
We've
with Askren, remember?
Askren.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Like he was out pretty bad though, wasn't he?
It was pretty bad. But we us boxing, the MMA guys, we never want to see it over.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. I do remember he just flattened him, but I mean, I can't remember if he bounced up quicker or not.
Yeah, he bounced up. But Volk, I don't want to take your time too long, man. This is one of the things I wanted to ask you about for a long time, man. I saw this right after the Jacksonville when I saw your interview with Ariel Helwani, and it really resonated with me, man. I've been wanting to talk to you about this for a while. And I remember before when you were cutting weight, and I was gonna do some jokes, and then I was like, oh, I fucked it up, and then you were like, and then when you were cutting weight. And then I heard you say this on Ariel, and I was like, and then you were saying, no second guessing. Remember, I was like, I second guess myself, and you're like, no second guessing. When you were cutting weight, like you were adamant about it, And then I remember when you were on the podcast in New York with Ariel, and then you were talking about how you kind of we were talking about. I call it the bald Volk. Like bold Volk is not one to fuck with, But I remember you were talking about
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like the bold Volk is like the new demon Volk, But. Yeah. You were talking about, seeing seeing a sports psychologist and how, because you were getting a lot of it's crazy. Like the internet is undefeated, bro. And you were talking about how you were just a regular dude, and then you were just doing your job, competing every day, and you were getting this crazy backlash for things that were out of your control. And I kind of feel like it made you better at the end,
It did. And the sad thing is, some people might not be able to deal with it and get through it. Some people can really go to spiral downhill from it. It was definitely a tough time. When you got to deal with that, especially with the person I am. What type of human being I am. I'm. There's most of the time. If you were to see, I guarantee, if we were just sitting there on the street, and some guy was just carrying on, you yourself would know that this guy's just crazy. Like, why would you have something like that to say about Alex? What the hell? Like, I know he wouldn't have done nothing. Like, I'm not that type of guy, right? So it's so I'm a pretty friendly guy. I'm not ever trying to offend anyone or anything like that. So there's no reason. Like, you know, I feel like I'm a people pleaser, right? Like, you know, that's just how I've always been, and it can be bad in a sense. Sometimes it can be. Sometimes, yeah, people can obviously take advantage of it, and you can sort of miss things. But anyway, so I'm always that, and I'm like, you know, getting all this hate, and I'm like, you know, then I'm trying to make things right. Then I was in this process of, nah, fuck them, you know, like, you know, that's not fair, so fuck them. Then I'll be like, in the build up to being no second guessing, who cares what they think, I'll do that. But if there was confusion, so that still was a bit hard, where I'll like say something, then do my heading over things I'm saying, like, you know, and I did it, like, you know, it was just weird. It was where now it's just like, I'm gonna do it. People hate it. I'll look at it and be like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, people are gonna take it out of context, take it the wrong way. That's on them. They'll get over it. And then now I won't second guess. I won't sit there and dwell on it. And I do that in the cage now as well. And the same as even with my techniques, where I used to be like, oh, you know, like, wasn't confident enough to believe in things that we're coming up with. And I was like, mate, look what you're doing. Like, why wouldn't you, right? Like, and then I started, like, the more you train, the more you started incorporating these in fights, and the more you're doing, the better you're doing. You start really believing, and the confidence is there, and then everything just Volk. You know what I mean? That process when Volk was going. You know what I mean? Like I was still struggling, and then the ball. That's why I always sit there. And the ball Volk is a whole different beast, and I never want to change it because he come with a whole different mentality. Even, you know what I mean? Like, he's just a different dude to the Volk that had hair. Because that was that transition of me trying to get through that, and then all of a sudden I went to a point where, nah, fuck it all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm proud of who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am, and what I know, and all that type of stuff. And I went bald at that stage. So then he just, you know, so
Yeah.
Volk's here to stay.
That's what I'm saying, dog. It was like the cutting off of the hair was like the cutting off of all the people, all the shit. You're just like, no, motherfucker, this is me, cunt. This is who I am, and you're gonna deal with it. And you know who you are, bro. And we all know who you are. And that's why I think all the team and all the boys are like, we love the new Volk, because we've always known that you're the man, you know? Yeah. Dog, the cutting the hair was like cutting off all the bad jujus, just all those comments and shit, you know? And it's amazing, right? Because like the people, bro, it's like you were saying, nobody would ever tell you those things in their face.
And even it wasn't me cutting all their comments and all that. It was me cutting off me caring about those comments. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you know, the comments are always going to be there. But the person that literally cared too much about what this hater was saying compared to what, you know, the people that I actually care about were saying, you know what I mean? Like, this person's going to hate me just because he likes the other guy. It's just that simple. He's going to find things to hate me for it. Why am I going to take that so serious? So that when I shaved that hair off, that was me shaving, you know, instead of me getting rid of all them comments, it was me getting rid of the guy that cared about them comments. Now, again, obviously, you got to control everything. You've got social media. You know, you don't want to come off too big, but yeah, I'm going to use comments and be like, I'm still going to talk to people and communicate and still get information, and then see, again, but I'm not going to let it get to me. If I make if I say a statement that doesn't come off right and I look bad, I'm like, shit, all right, my bad. Oh, well, move on. You know, I did it. It's done. Accept it, move on. You know, things like that. I'm just a lot better with it. But I mean, you're going to learn, still learning now.
Yeah, I hear a lot of it. I was reading a book. I'm reading this one book called Relentless, and then like I hear a lot of like a lot of people that I listen to and like, they always say like, the day that you can stop really caring what everybody thinks and you can just be you, that's like when you really become like your most free. And I feel like I'm seeing that a lot with you right now, you know? Yeah,
exactly. And obviously, don't get me wrong, I'm always going to be that caring guy. I'm always still going to have a bit of that, but I'm there. It's not going to be an extent where it's controlling everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's times where I'm doing favors for everyone and not being able to, you know, I can't spend as much time with my own family because I'm trying to people please everyone. And obviously everyone wants a piece of the champ. And, you know, when things like that comes in, it's like, now it's like, all right, it's not even selfish. I think it's selfish for, it'd be selfish for people to think that I should not spend time with my family and just spend time with absolutely everything else. And like, obviously they don't. But I mean, I'm just saying that's who I was. I'm like, oh, what if they take it this way? And then, you know what I mean? I was so worried. What if this? What if that? Is like, no. Like, don't worry about what if. What if they don't care?
Exactly.
What if nothing happens?
Yeah, and again,
you know what I mean?
And how they feel has got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, exactly. And then if they do take away, that's them looking at it the wrong way, and that might be their problem, not yours.
Yeah, man, definitely. Volk, I can't wait, man. I'm excited. So the training camp is, you're
No second guessing too, mate. No second guessing. I'm here, dude. I mean, I'm telling you.
No second
Hey,
guessing.
you don't sit there, it's like, oh,
Volk.
Hey, did that joke? Did they get that joke? Who cares if they didn't get it? Own it. That's it. Don't second guess it. Roll on. Move on. Play on, baby.
I'm using it from all my boys, mate. That's been my thing since Jacksonville. It's funny. I heard you say that, and mate, when I left the hotel room after that, it was like early morning when you made the weight, and I'm like, yo, Emilio, the fucking champ, and then you said it on Ariel Helwani the next day, so I was like, wow, it was good, man. I feel like, bro, the people really needed to hear that because it's so hard with the social media nowadays, man. It's really hard to even me, you, we're pretty badass. We train, we have friends, you know what I mean? But what about regular people on the internet who get the hate and stuff like that? You know, it's a good example to lead for everybody else too, man, because it's a crazy world out there, and people need the love, and you know they need to believe like you believe, and you know, and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's always going to be there, but I mean, that's why you can't worry about it. Just own it, baby. Own it. So I'm getting better with that, and you know what? I got a lot of that. Probably, obviously, obviously through my experiences and stuff like that. So, because me and it's funny because me and Izzy, that we always, we have different ways, much different ways of how we go. We're both obviously very successful, but in different ways, right? Like we go about it differently, but we can take so much from each other in that sense. So I got a lot of that from him, him being kind of like, and then like, even like, like being comfortable, like on the way, like, on the way to the arena and things like that, and making it like, if I focus on something here, that's not going to make me lose focus. I'll still get in that octagon and focus on what needs to be. Like just little things like that, watching him being able to do crazy choreographed dances and go out there and fight, and like, you know what I mean? I was like, man, so yeah, for sure. Like, why can't you know what I mean? Like, and then just even the way he holds himself, and like, I learned a lot from that. It's funny because we both vibe off of each other in different ways. I'll have different approaches. He will have different approaches, but it's cool how, like when we're together, we vibe off each other in so many different ways.
It's amazing
how
that's
where I got a lot of that from.
Both your hero arcs kind of, you guys' arcs find each other, and like I'm sure that he could say the same for you, and he always says the same for you. I'm sure he gets a bunch of things off of your attitude and the way you represent yourself and carry yourself in the gym that we all learn from too, so
100%. And he says that. That's how I know that we do that. You know what I mean? Like that's how I know it's like that. It's weird because obviously I'm connected to everyone. I'm connected to you. I'm connected to all the training partners. You know what I mean? So I'm connected. So I get emotional for all the fights and everything for all the guys. Every time anyone fights, I'm going to get emotional like that. But then it goes to a stage where obviously, where then you're fighting. You're trying to defending your belt or fighting back. There's this guy. You know what I mean? Like for his last fight and things like that. Obviously, it's a whole different scale there now because all of a sudden there's so much more on the line. And then, like, it's just that's why you see me absolutely freaking out in my reaction video.
I was gonna say that. I wanted to, bro. You can see the love and admiration that you guys have for each other and the work that you put in on the reaction video. I was there live, mate. It was the craziest live event I've ever seen. I was almost broke my dad's ankle jumping up and down. It was crazy. Miami came through, bro. I think Florida, Jacksonville. Jacksonville was the same week as the Miami show, so I'm thinking that April is going to be like the Florida shows.
So, yeah, man. Well, Miami looked unreal. So
we got to get you in there.
I was like, because when after that happened, I was like in there and I was having a few drinks while I was watching, and I was fired up. I'm like, whoa, yeah, man. I was like, and like even Emma's like, oh, no, it looks like you're going out, and I'm like, you know what, I am going to go out. Like, I end up going out that night. So I was like, even called up. I was just. Obviously voice special and all the boys and just sending videos. Mark it out, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think I even had a chat with Izzy, But I was like in the bar and it was loud, and I thought he was in a bar as well, actually. But he was just like, he was in a quiet room, and I'm like, he's like, hey, go somewhere quiet. I couldn't hear him. But I mean, like, yeah, I was fired up.
Wow. Hey, and how lucky that you guys.
I could only imagine how you guys were over there.
Oh man, I almost broke my dad's ankle. Yo, you know what? Hey, I felt like Shay. You know how we were giving Shay. You know how we were taking the chops. You know how we were taking the piss out of Shay for like when he kept showing like when we were in Vegas. I kept taking pictures of him, telling people that we're here for you. That was me at the fights with Izzy. I was like, all right, look, that's my boy. And they're like, we're like in the 400s, and I'm like, yo, that's my boy. They're like looking at me like I'm crazy, you know? They're like, how does this Miami from Cuba know this? How does this Cuban guy acting like he trained? Where did you train with Izzy, you know?
He was like, yeah, right. Like, well, you seen him at a bar one time, fucking. Yeah,
it was a good time.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Volk, my man, I can talk to you all day. It was a great catch up, brother. You know what's funny? Hey, sure. No second guessing. I'm always second guessing. Oh, I gotta get Volk in the pod. I don't want to bother him. Nah, man. If I want to talk to you, I'm gonna hit you up, dog.
Hey, you're like, well, what if okay. What if I do say no, I can't because I'm busy? Let's do it next. Who cares, right?
Yeah, I'll just message you again.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal if I can't do it right now. I'll do it later. It doesn't matter. We'll make it work. You know what I mean? Like, so that's it. Like, and like, I still go through this as well. So I can sit there and say that to you. I'm still going to do it here and there, but I'm just getting much better with it. And you're going to learn. You're going to okay. Like, you're going to know that you're going to understand. People aren't going to. I'm always thinking that they're going to think the worst. Like, give your friends the benefit of the doubt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get what I mean? Like, exactly. Like, we probably won't care. We're probably going to be like, oh, yeah, look, right now, today, I can't. Let's do it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But we're good, mate. I've always got time for you. Emilio, I'm glad we got this in.
Mate,
good chat, too, mate.
It was a great chat. Hey, Volk. You started MMA at 22 years old, dog. I'll never forget this. And I remember when you were in Thailand and you told everybody, dog, you were like, when I first signed, I remember you were talking, and I thought, you said it once, you're like, oh, I'm going to become the champ. I remember you said it once, like when you first started training, like you kind of knew, like and I've heard you say this in interviews, like, I'm going to do this, And I remember thinking, I was like, yo, you thought that your first day at the gym? You know what I mean? I remember thinking that. And then like, now I use that motivation for comedy and podcasting because I'm a little bit older and I'm starting this game late, but I'm like, nah, mate, I know the work ethic it takes because I've seen it live in the flesh. And I know, like you say, you're no special, you're no different. You just work ridiculously harder than everybody else. And it's proven now. And now everybody knows, like what we've been saying for years, dog. Woo! I got all jacked up.
Yeah, get into it. But like I said, mate, you're always you're perfect for this as well. Mad energy, mad vibes. Man, that's it. So then all it is comfortable, confident, no second guessing, cruising, baby.
I love it. Volk, we're gonna see you in July. I'm talking to Shay right now. We'll hit up Emma for the disc for the tickets, and this time we're getting the good tickets. I want to be sitting in the middle, dog. You know what I'm saying? I want to fucking talk to Logan Paul and be like, yo, that's my boy.
I could probably work something out for you, my man.
Let's get it, Volky. Have a great night. Have a great day. Anyway. We'll keep in touch. I'll talk soon, brother. Thank you so much for the time, my man. And yo, hey, all the Honey Badger fans, this has been the most requested interview. So I've been waiting to have my situation right. Yeah, I want to make sure I have the good camera and stuff. You feel me? Look, we're moving on up, mate.
Look at that. Look at the shirt and all, man. Love it.
I'm going to send you guys some. Yeah, I'm going to send you guys some. Hey, Volk, have a great one, my brother. Hey, congratulations on the Volk tribe, bro. Another one. 3, baby. Yeah, you got the 3-piece. Hey, keep going, dog. We're going to
we'll get there one day.
We're going to get 7 chicks, bro.
I'm done.
All right, we're done. That's it, mate. Hey, my brother.
All right, brother.
Take care. Thank you, Volky.
Love you.
Hey, love you too, my brother. We'll talk soon, my man.
Keep in touch.
Whoosh.